I love Seattle. I lived out in Seattle for a while, and the food there is so phenomenal. It's so fresh and gorgeous, and just beautiful and simple. I really love that place. I try not to focus on taking things away. I try to add in nutrient-rich foods into the things I eat. I don't say, I'm going to take out the fat. I say, what can I add in to make my muscles work more? What can I add into this that will give me the vitamins I need? It feels luxurious. Food saver containers extend the life of my food so I can have fresh food ready all week long. For a food lover with a big imagination, there's nothing worse than eating the exact same meal several days in a row. My favorite way to cook is to look in my cabinets and see what I have. That's the most fun. I don't have tomatoes, but I have this chili garlic sauce from the Asian grocery store. Let's throw that in there and see how it affects my beef barley soup. The real thing people miss in vegetarian cooking is fat. Fat is flavor. It is delicious. I was going to be a writer, and that turned into journalist. And then that turned into a career in children's literature, which turned into early childhood education, which turned into psychology, which turned into pre-med, which turned into nursing school, which turned into communication, which turned into marketing and advertising. I did a brief stint with set design and stage design, and I tried playwriting, too. I loved the minute I realized I was good at cooking. Like, I had a moment I made a roasted chicken, and I remember watching people's faces as they ate it, and I thought at that time, oh, I am good at this. Some companies out there make a great burger. Beyond Beef does a great job. But making a burger at home that feels so satisfying and fatty and protein-based while still being plant-based was a challenge. I don't think it exists anymore where you have to be a vegetarian or meat eater. There's this beautiful gray area that we're all living in now. It just takes some exposure to the different ways to do it. Meatloaf was a pretty big part of our family. And the meatloaf sandwiches were even more. Finding exciting ways to use leftovers is what we all struggle with. There's one simple thing that you can do to transform them: stock your pantry. I'm all about creating fun, new ways to enjoy the delicious dishes left in my refrigerator. With so many delicious varieties and flavors ranging from subtle to bold, Keebler and Kars crackers are an unexpectedly genius way to celebrate leftovers and serve up one-of-a-kind recipes. Most people think to make green bean casserole around Thanksgiving and Christmas, but honestly, I make this dish more during the summer, when green beans can be found fresh at the market. I think it is the perfect meal when served with crusty bread, a bountiful salad, and a cup or two of wine. When I think of summertime as a kid, I think of my grandpa's gardens full of tomatoes, buckets heaping with blackberries, and countertops lined with an assortment of ball jars, ready to can the flavor of summer. The tradition of canning is still very close to my heart. That's why I'm so excited to team up with the Ball home canning experts at Newell Brands to share how truly rewarding the process can be. For me, meal prep is about doing the work when you have the time, which is usually on the weekend. When anybody is just starting the process of cooking, I always say it takes practice, and nobody got to be a great cook on their first try. Learn to cook brown rice with a little salt and butter or olive oil. Learn to boil noodles properly or sauté onions right. Once you get those basics down, you'll be all good and feel more confident. Instead of focusing on what my body looks like, I try and focus on how my body works, how strong my body is. If you want to eat more vegetarian food, you don't have to become a vegetarian. It doesn't have to be an identity overhaul. All we want is food that tastes good, truthfully. There are tons of vitamins and minerals you'll get in plant-based foods that are not soluble if you don't eat fat. My journey was never hard, it just happened. From the second I held a knife, from the second I was in culinary school, it's all felt too good to be true. This cannot be my job, my life. Somebody has to be kidding with me. Part of being a really good chef or cook is being able to fix disasters. I make my food in such a way that people can eat it every single day. My dad passed away from a heart attack, so it's always been very important for me to make food I love, the food we made growing up, but in a way that it won't be harmful to my body or to the people I love. Just as long as it's not boring. It has to be flavorful and delicious. I would like to help people cook more. I'd like to see kids learning to cook and families sitting down to dinner together. I really would like to help people get back into the kitchen. I hope to use food as a way to connect with people. Almost everyone loves to eat, and when you're able to make people feel more involved in that process, it feels really good. I think it's an incredible gift to be able to give people. Growing up, our meals consisted primarily of vegetables, and then we had small amounts of meat. Cooking is one of those things that is universal to people. And anytime you can teach somebody a way to connect with all people, there's so much joy in it, and it is always going to be exciting. It's always good to update your food. It's always exciting to learn and update new flavor profiles. Where we can, I'd like to cut out sugars. I don't want to make food that is unhealthy. For me, love always means spending time with people. And whenever you spend time with people, you're going to end up getting hungry at some point, so I bring food. I like to create events where people are going to make memories, and that always starts and ends with food in my life. My husband is a vegetarian, so it has really pushed me as a chef. Just thinking about the food that I really relied on as my honey hunting foods, that looks different with a vegetarian. I love that Christmas lasts for so long, and I love that everybody still believes that magic is going to happen. It's a chance to be reminded that being with people is the most important thing. I love to make casseroles.